right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to TL's Roadhouse. Glad to have y'all on board. Warren Zeiders is in the house, man. It's so nice to meet you, man. Here we are. You seem so chill, man.
I am. Fun fact, Warren Zeiders is not in the house. It's Warren Zeiders.
Zeiders.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Zeiders. Like
Yes,
apple
sir.
cider.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you for the correction.
Of course,
I did not
man.
know, man.
Yeah.
See, now we know each other.
Yep.
Mine's Lawrence, not Lawrence. It's very nice to meet you, man. I'm so excited to get a chance to talk to you and kind of walk through all your success. We chatted a little bit before we started, but it's quite the journey, isn't it?
Yeah. The best way I can put it is that God's good, man.
God is very good.
Yes, he
you know,
is.
when you were kind of talking a little bit before we got everything working this morning. It's kind of like people come through in groups. I know in the '90s when we started, you had the class of '89 with you had Alan Jackson and Mark Chestnut and Vince Gill and Garth Brooks and Travis Tritt and that whole thing. And then the whole bunch of us came on in like 91, 92. So it kind of comes in waves. It's like you kind of graduate to the next level, and it's pretty fascinating to watch it. And a lot of it has to do, I think, with the space on radio charts, how labels approach things, how they groom and rotate the next class in. And it's just pretty fascinating to be a part of, isn't it?
It really is, and like we were talking about before we got going here, is that how fast those classes are coming in now.
Yeah.
Just with, like we were saying 4 years ago with me starting up and posting on social media, and now here we are. It's like it's one thing to be taking songs to radio and stuff, but with social media and things garnering so much steam so fast on socials, it's like you want to be heavy on the press of like, hey, this is the next song to take as fast as we can because this one's popping off right now on socials and streaming wise and everything. So
Is that how they found you? It's through socials?
yeah, it was through socials. Started posting clips on social media during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I don't have any musical background whatsoever. Was never in the church band or choir.
Really?
Was never in a band, never played dive bars or anything like that. I just hopped on social media for fun, man, to pass the time.
So I want to come back to all that journey, but I want to know how this is a fascinating thing for me because everybody from my era came up playing clubs. You started off either jamboree halls or playing in the church. A lot of it parlayed into nightclubs and VFWs and all them things. How long did it take you to get comfortable with doing full shows? I mean, because there's a learning curve there as you start learning to put a show together, build not just a 45-minute set or a couple of songs when you're going in to do karaoke or whatever. Putting a show together and being able to hold an audience, there's an art to that.
Oh, there very much so is. I always like to say, like I said earlier, God is good, and I think that this was innately put in me, and I think that I was put on this planet to do this because, you go from blowing up on social media to
so you were here to make country music great again, weren't you?
I love what you did there. I love what you did there.
Yeah.
I think I think that's a good way to put it. From posting on socials to coming to Nashville for the first time to having my first ever co-write and that being my first ever hit song that I wrote, Ride the Lightning.
Wow.
My story is very unique in the sense that things happened so fast for me. Then you turn around, you spend a year in Nashville of writing, putting out music, not touring yet, building the fan base. And then before you know it, you're like, okay, we're going to put some shows up and see if people buy tickets. Little did I know I'd put up a 15 tour acoustic date with me and a guitar player after never playing a show. And it would sell out in 36 hours, 200, 400, 500, 700 cap rooms. First ever show I ever played in my life was
that before the record deal or after?
It was after the record deal.
So how did you parlay all that stuff to get noticed by the record label? Were you posting acoustic videos?
Yeah.
I mean, just sports videos, other things? Was there a collage of different things, or was it all music that you were doing?
It was all music.
Gotcha.
It was all music, and I was posting on TikTok and Instagram, and things were really, gaining success. It was all covers at that standpoint before I'd come to Nashville. And then I ended up, as we were seeing technical difficulties and stuff like that here, I went ahead and people were like, hey, we love your covers. Can you write original music, or what's your original music like? And I'm like, I've never claimed to be an artist, guys. I'm just singing songs that I like to sing and posting it on socials. So they wanted original music. I'm like, I have no idea how to write a song. I have no one teaching me. I have no one telling me how to do this. So I'm in my childhood bedroom and I go ahead and put some pen to paper and just kind of try to figure it out. And I do. And I go to Guitar Center. I buy a microphone. I buy an interface. I buy cables. I buy soundproofing stuff with what money that I did have, and watch a YouTube video on kind of how to semi-record something on a free software that I downloaded. Recorded in my bedroom, one take, me and acoustic guitar, just singing. No mixing, no mastering, no none of that. No critiquing vocal edits or anything. And I go ahead and figure out how to upload it into, what was it, TuneCore, to get it on Spotify and all that stuff. And people loved it. And I was just like, oh, this is kind of cool. And got in contact with my manager, who's still my manager today. And it's been a wild ride ever since that, man.
Wow, it's really amazing the impact that social media can have on an artist's career now. It's just such a great tool that adds such another dimension. The only thing that confuses me is if you have something that goes viral, most of the time you have no idea what made it go viral, and it's really difficult to recreate that or do it twice in a row. It's like catching lightning in a bottle twice. It's really there's a system to radio hits where there's a method to madness, and there's a momentum and there's a rhythm that goes along with it. The whole social media thing is it's still the Wild West out there to me.
It is. Here's the thing. You can have a viewpoint on it that you're at the mercy of the algorithm, but I was just recently in an interview, and the reality is it's like anything in life, it's persistence. And it's just knowing that not every song you write is going to be a massive hit. It's knowing that every single video you put up is not going to be a massive viral moment. You're looking for that next moment, whether it's in the rituals and habits of just consistency, continuing to put out great content, put out great music, continue to just be true and authentic to yourself, and keep feeding that fan base. And you will eventually find your next viral moment or your next thing that garners steam.
Who were you watching on social media that gave you the inspiration and kind of gave you a template to go by about how to post and what to do?
I wish I could give you someone that was really kind of inspiring me on how to approach the social media thing. But for me, honestly, I was just kind of piggybacking off of what I was doing. My background is in marketing and sales. That's what I went to school for. I sold cars for a couple of years. My family's business world, entrepreneurial. My mom was a CFO, worked in finance and accounting. My dad did life insurance and investments, had real estate. We had family businesses. So the whole marketing thing is innately in my blood. So it's funny because sitting across from you here, when my manager first found me, he had already thought that I had a manager by the moves that I was making, because I was able to take people from TikTok to Instagram to YouTube to Spotify. Like, the conversion rate was real. It wasn't just like, hey, you have this many followers on TikTok and no one really gives a shit about you anywhere else. No, it's not just.
How did you know to do that? Just from, I think there's a different understanding of it when you grow up in the social media generation. Some of it's still very foreign to me. Was it just kind of a natural thing that you just kind of grasped?
It was just kind of a natural thing that I kind of just had an understanding for. And I was watching YouTube videos of, not even in the music realm, just content creators. And like, I was doing so much research on algorithms and what seems to be working for people. And you look at these videos and you're like, okay, I have 3 to 5 seconds to gain your attention, because people's attention spans are becoming shorter and shorter and shorter. So it's like, I was looking at it from a mathematical way and such a marketing and business way of like, okay, what can I put that's super hooky at the beginning of the video to keep your attention span to want to finish the video and drop a like, drop a follow, share the video, just to continue to get my name out there. So the thing about the algorithm on socials, it's always evolving, it's always changing. So you have something that works for a while, you keep to that system, and then as it changes, you have to find your next thing that's going to continue to work for you.
Where do you post first? Do you go to Instagram first? Because TikTok's probably secondary, isn't it? How relevant? How's the hierarchy of which one is priority to you? Where you go first?
For me, the 2 top priorities. And I'm very hands on my socials. I control my socials and stuff. The 2 that I keep my hand on the pulse for are TikTok and Instagram. and I still post at the same time that I've been doing
Really?
since I was posting in my childhood bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah.
What time do you post every day?
So again,
And how many times a day do you post?
yeah. So for people listening, it's going to be different for everyone because because you can't go ahead and listen to what I'm going to say and be like, oh, that's the best time to post. It's worked for me, and socials are going to reward consistency. So again, it's not everybody's going to be great, but you just got to keep posting.
So learning the algorithm too, did you have any videos that got pulled down? Was there a little bit of a learning curve there too? Did you have to kind of find what content you had to stay away from? Was there certain topics that you had to steer away from?
Yeah. So for me, the topics and the music and stuff, where I was finding success was some of those more, I want to say, underground kind of country scenes where it wasn't like your mainstream country of, my success was really coming from a lot of covers, shout out to, Whiskey Myers, Texas band.
Yeah.
And, it was stuff like that. It was Tyler Childers. It was those kinds of things that I was listening to, and it was authentic because that's what I was listening to at that time, of all these different artists that were inspiring me, and I loved their music. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to make my own cover of this, my own version. That's what it makes my acoustics cover album that's on all streaming platforms so unique, because it's this weird body of work, because you have a Whiskey Myers cover to a Post Malone cover of like a song of his that's not very super well known, but it's more of a deep cut. And then you have a cover of Outskirts of Heaven by Craig Campbell. And that was a cool moment for me because I gave that song that I love a whole new life, a whole new meaning. And then I got to meet Craig through the process and have him come and record social media content with me. And he loved it because he just wanted to learn from a young guy on, how are you approaching this? How's this working for you? And it got him really into social media.
That's really cool. When you first started, what were the musical influences that were inspiring you?
It was all across the board, man. You know, for me, obviously I love country music. That's why I do what I do. But for me, it was all across. It was, my mom was, I don't think I could get in the car growing up without listening to Shania Twain. My mom loved Shania. Garth Brooks, I absolutely love his documentary that I've watched numerous times on Netflix and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you go ahead and you flip it on its head. And then my dad was AC/DC, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, that's where that rock influence comes from, my personality and in my music and on my stage presence. So, and then obviously there's a lot of messages within my song where I touch on, religious things, and I talk about God and stuff like that. And I grew up in the church, and I'm a Christian. And I think that the whole reason why I'm here today, sitting here having a conversation with you, is because this is what God had planned for me.
I felt the same way too. It was really strange for me when I first got to town, and I've told this story before. But when you don't grow up around a predominantly big music scene, there weren't a lot of kids that played instruments, things. I was in the marching band and stuff, but as far as guitar players and things, I didn't have a lot of access to people that were around me. But when I moved to Nashville, all of a sudden I found all these people that were just like me, that were just as passionate, that were dreaming the same dream, and a lot of really talented people. The first time you came to town, did you get that vibe too?
I'll be honest, it's different for us right now, and for people like me in our position, because comparable to when you were coming to town and stuff like that, it's different now because we're on social media, and that's our place now, and we're coming into town with all these eyes and ears and everything. So it's like when I came into town, I was thrown into the fire, man. There was no real chit chat and being like, hey, let's hang out and stuff. It's like I was full bore in a career already. It was like, hey, you got this, and now you signed a record deal, and now you're on a record label, and now we're going to have you keep writing, and now we're going to have you record music, and you're going to keep marketing, and we're going to grow this, and then now we're going to throw you on a tour. The tour's sold out. Now you're going to keep playing. Now the tour's done. What's the full band thing look like? And it's just like there was no learning curve. There was no learning process. It was all, you're doing this now, and it's either sink or swim, man.
Well, in the time frame that you're in right now, too, there's really no opportunity to let off the gas.
No,
you've got to be wide into it, and that's the great part about being young and getting in this business. That's why you want to do it when you're young, because it's very demanding.
Oh yeah.
Done the radio tour yet?
I've done. So the nice thing for me is I've done the radio tour, but I haven't done the radio tour that everybody talks about. And fortunately, that I've been fortunate enough not to have to do the extensive nature of what that demands. I did it to a certain degree for when I was pushing my first radio single with my first tape, Pretty Little Poison. But thankfully, the success and hard ticket sales and numbers are not lying. So it kind of gives you a leg up on that whole thing where it's like, hey, I'm selling out, 3,000-4,000 cap rooms already, and I haven't even been touring. Like, we're about to go on this spring tour here, and I went from a 15-passenger van on my first tour. I'm going into 3 tour buses and 2 tractor trailers with production in the span of 3 years of touring, which is God's good, man.
God is amazing. I mean, that's a wonderful thing to see. Tell me emotionally how the experience was when the first time you heard yourself on the radio as you go through the whole process, because that's something that's really hard to describe to people that have never really grasped what that feeling is like. There's an experience to what it feels like feeling a record go up the charts.
There is, and I think that for me, it's like you can go ahead and put your song on and you can listen to it on Spotify, and like
Not the same.
It's not the same. And for me, the coolest part about it was I was on radio tour pushing my single Pretty Little Poison. And the best part about it was I was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is 10 minutes away from where I grew up.
Yeah.
And that was the first time we had just got out of doing a performance. We got in the car. And they're like, hey, make sure you turn your radio on when you got in the car. And I remember we were pulling into, shout out to Sheetz. I love Sheetz. I'm a Sheetz guy, not a Wawa's guy. And we were pulling into there, and lo and behold, it comes on. And that was the first time I had heard it on the radio. And it was emotional. It was emotional. And I think that there's 2 times that I think about. There's that moment, and then there was this past New Year's Eve, not this most recent, not this one. It was the one prior, right? When did Pretty Little Poison go number 1? I'm trying to remember. Was it this most recent New Year's Eve? Okay, got it. Poison had already gone number 1, the whole thing, but I was in the car with my parents, and we had a low-key New Year's Eve, just hanging out with the family, and they were dropping me off at my house, and it comes on as they're dropping me off, and I start getting teary-eyed because I'm like, wow, like, this is real. It was one of those pinch me moments of just like, I'm with my parents, and we're going into 2025, and this is going to be a crazy year for my life, and
you can feel that your life's about to change when the whole you can just feel they say that the hardest thing is to establish momentum, and when you lose it, it's even harder to get momentum back again. So push it as hard and as fast as you can, as long as you can. Ride the wave, man. It's a special journey, man. It's something that in the whole big scheme of the world, very few people get to experience what you're going through right now. Yeah, it's a blessing, man.
It's a blessing, and it can be difficult at times too, because
it can be overwhelming at times.
Overwhelming, and I think it's about controlling those emotions and stuff, but also too, it's like, the truth is, man, they're not lying when they say it's lonely at the top. Like,
well, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about how your life changed from being just a social media guy that was posting stuff out of your bedroom, and all of a sudden there's this machine, and it starts to surround you. What does the wheel around your career look like? You've got a publicist, you've got a social media team. Tell me the infrastructure around you, because all these people, you become a commodity, and their whole mission is to propel you and protect you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets a little suffocating.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, you go from having your road team to your band to your tour manager to your PM, your stage manager. Like, these are all new things that I'm bringing into, because I was on a previous tour in the spring where our staging was 3 lighting towers, and then you go to Jelly Roll, and
you're in front of 12, 15,000 people, and however many you play.
Yeah. And then you go ahead and you're like, okay, that was cool. And now we're going into our spring tour, and we're going into 4, 5, 6, 7,000 cap rooms. And now it's like, hey, we're going to have a whole stage plot, whole stage built, LED walls, 100 lighting fixtures. Like, and then it's like, you're like, wow, this is back to that moment of like, this is the year where I firmly believe, and I can innately feel it in my heart of like, this is where things dramatically change for my life, where you go from being, people recognize you on the street and like you're famous to like, oh, you're famous now. Like, now when I go out, it's like, I could probably have someone with me, maybe. But I mean, there's been times where like I'm going for a run in Nashville, and I've had my headphones on, and I had this one lady being like, "You're him." I'm like, "No, I'm not."
It's bad when you start denying yourself.
She's like, "Yes, you are." She's like, "Can I get a photo?" I'm like, "I'm working out right now." I'm running and I'm dripping in sweat. It's the middle of summer.
Yeah.
But all that being said, to what you were saying about people around me, you got management, and then the management team grows, and you got a publicist, and you got your booking, and you got your record label. It's like you have all these things. I was just in rehearsals yesterday, right? And I'm gearing up for the Houston Rodeo.
Yep.
And you go in there, and I love my people around me, but if you're not in it, you can't relate to it. You can say I understand all you want, but if you haven't gone through it,
Yeah.
you just don't understand. So it's like I'm showing up there, and my team only has me for one day of rehearsals, and I'm trying to give them, as much as I can to be present and go through the set and everything. But I'm there, my social media guy's there. So we're talking about what are we posting tonight? And then I have other people there, and my tour manager's like, do you want your bus there, or are you going to stay in a hotel? So it's like you go from being there to go ahead and think, okay, I'm going to show up and I'm going to be there for the band, to then a million other things come onto your plate, especially an album release week. And now you're not an artist, man. You are a CEO of your company.
Now, I always said you're like a can of peas, man. You're a product. They're going to put you on the shelf.
Yeah.
And it's all about how do you market that product. And the marketing background, I'm telling you what, man, I took a lot of marketing classes in college. They helped me a tremendous amount early on in my career.
Yeah.
They gave me media training because I was doing television production in college. All those little things you don't even realize you're going to use. And all of a sudden it's like, I get what's going on around me. I mean, it does help.
It does help. And I just think that like people looking at you, and it's like my band, for example, like there was some frustration because they wanted me to be more present there in that moment. And I was like, hey, let's go over the necessities of what we need to go through. But again, I'm like, I'm here, and this person needs this from me, and this person needs this from me, and I need to make sure this is good and this is good to go. It's like, I'm not just an artist that shows up. I'm a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I'm touching this. I'm making sure this is good. Do I like this merch piece? Do I want this wrap on this? I want this buzz. I need this. Are we taking care of this? Is this taken care of? Like, I'm touching everything because it's your name, it's your brand, and you want it to be believable. And
Well, you're rare.
It's authentic.
But you are very rare. Not everybody wants the control of all that stuff. There's a lot of people that just want to get on stage and sing.
Yeah.
But there's so many other aspects that go along with this career, the branding and the imaging and everything. And so it all fits into that collage of who you are as that product.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I often wondered, man, would it have been easier for me to be able to separate all that stuff if I would have changed my name, like Conway Twitty or something?
Yeah.
It's hard to make a separation when you still want to be that normal person, but your life is changing fast.
Yeah. I think that, whether you change your name or not, you are that person that's on stage. And, you go from being this high octane person on stage, and my show is very rock influenced, and then I come off, and then people are like, you're so chill. And I'm like, I am. But what you saw on the stage was that monster woke up. Like, that's my going on the field. Like, I played sports my whole life, played lacrosse for 12 years. So it's like that monster's inside of me, and he comes awake when it's time to go on stage. But it's having that monster inside of you and knowing when for it to show up and having control over it.
Having control over it, really being able to hold that thing in place and tap into that when you need to access it.
100%.
It's another level.
It is.
It's pretty freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you were growing up, man, tell me siblings, tell me family scenarios. You have brothers and sisters?
I have a younger sister.
Cool.
Yep. And mom and dad have been married for 25 years.
Yeah.
Grandparents, my mom's side, both still living.
That's so funny to me. My wife and I just celebrated our 25th anniversary. So let's say.
No, that's amazing though.
I know.
I mean, no, but that's amazing.
Just the age difference. It's
yeah.
just the music industry's changed so much in the time I've been here. It's been amazing for me.
Mom and dad had me unexpectedly, but I say I was a blessing from the good Lord. But yeah, my younger sister, she's about almost 2 years younger than me. And I just posted on social media. She just finished up college, and she is getting her master's finished up. And for Christmas, I surprised her with paying off her student loans.
That's awesome.
So that was a super, super cool moment.
It's great to be able to do things for your family. I always try to do a lot of that stuff too. It's pretty special to have the ability to do for the people that you love. It really is.
And the people that took care of you, and the people that sacrificed
that
so
believed
much.
in you, that nurtured you along the way. That's
100%.
You can be anything you want to be, man. Prop you up and push you out there and make you go get it. Tell me, let's talk about what you're doing with your production stuff. how were you putting it together? What was your council like? Are you carrying a filming crew? You doing B-roll with your screens? Do you go set out in the arena? Did y'all put a big package up? Did you build your set list around your light production? How are you putting all your stuff together? You're very hands-on.
Again, man, it's a learning process. So you got to take opinions where you can get them, and
Yep.
obviously filter through them and everything. But I kind of had this. I drew out on a piece of paper that's still on my kitchen table of what I was envisioning on what I wanted, and shout out to my team for bringing it to life. I kind of wanted it to feel like almost like a horseshoe. So on stage, there's like these 6-7 foot 7 foot tall walls that are all LED screens.
Okay.
And it kind of is in a horseshoe around on the stage. And then you have my drummer, and then you have my keys player and my steel player up on risers. And then there's stairs going up with LED walls on the side, LED strips on the side that glow in the dark and have lights on them. So I can walk up and I can be up on top of this with graded staging on the top of it. And then on the top in the middle, I'll be able to stand up with an LED wall behind me, down lighting, staging, and it's going to be insane. It just gets me excited talking about it because I was watching it come to life yesterday in rehearsals, and it's not completed yet. But when I get back from Houston and I go to do some PR stuff in New York for album release week, Street Week, when I come back, it's going to be all said and done.
Have you already got all of your extra tracks and your B-roll content for your screens, everything done? You already got your set list basically mapped out. People don't realize, and I still like to fly by the seat of my pants. I still make set adjustments from time to time in the middle of the show.
Same.
But once it's really hard. People don't realize when you get locked in, once you get a show set and you're running tracks and you're doing all those other things and you got B-roll content, it's really hard, man. You throw a wrench in the cog when you change gears all of a sudden. You can watch people freak out when you do that stuff, man.
Especially when your show's time coded and everything is
everything
is down to the T. So that's another thing too that's like been new for us is we on the Jelly Roll tour, it was tracks were kind of like a new thing to us that we implemented. Yeah. And it's become something that it's been a learning curve. And then we had it over in Europe in the UK for my tour that I just got back from. And then now we just got a new tracks guy who is absolutely incredible. And it was my first time meeting him yesterday. And I was listening down to the tracks and everything on how it sounds. And it sounds massive.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, this is going to be wizard on the laptop with, making scenes and everything. And one of the most exciting things I'm excited for is playing my song Ride the Lightning at the Houston Rodeo. We added in like rain and thunder and lightning effects and stuff, and it feels like a storm's coming over top of you to the ending of the show. It's gonna be so cool.
That's all. Who are you taking out for support?
So for the spring tour, I'm taking out Tyler Braden. I've met him now once for the first time at the BMIs. Super sweet guy. And then can I say? Yeah. It's not announced. It's not announced yet, but we're announcing next week my fall tour, and I'm bringing out Chase Beckham and Dylan Marlowe.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a great year for you. I'm excited to see how it all shakes out, man. A lot of competition out in the market, though, but there's some good stuff going to happen.
Trust me, that monster's alive inside of me. There's competitive.
So, yeah, I can tell. So the title of the album is
Relapse, Lies, and Betrayal.
I was listening to some of it the last couple of days, man. There's some good tracks on there.
Thank you.
Where'd you record at?
The album, all said and done, put together, I recorded in a bunch of different places. I'm trying to think. I can visualize where they're at. I recorded some of the album in was once called Addictions Studio, but they just changed owners recently to what the name is called now. I don't know.
Everything in Town?
Yeah, it's like... Yeah. There's another place that I recorded to. What's the studio that's by Big Loud downtown?
It used to be Emerald.
Okay. It might be.
I don't think Emerald is even a studio anymore. What is by Big Loud? Is that... Shit, I don't know.
I don't know either.
There's so many
there's
new
so
ones
many studios
down there, man. I mean, you got your Ocean Ways and you sound stages and all those.
I walk in and I'm like, okay, let's record music.
What's the recording process like to you? I mean, rock and roll is different. I mean, there's some pros and cons to it, but everybody's pretty much on the system of you do all your pre-production beforehand, get all your songs and everything lined out. You
Yeah.
go in, it's a listen down one time for the players, chart and cut.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, for sure, I definitely like to test the musicians a lot. So on this record, Ross Copperman, him and I, we worked on Pretty Little Poison, my previous record together, and I wasn't jotted down as a producer on that one, even though Ross said I should have been. But on this one, I get some producer credits because me and Ross produced it together. And talking about how the process is for me, I'm very hands-on with that too, and my ideas and what I'm thinking. Or I may not have the number system or telling you exactly what to play, but I can tell you based off of feel and ear of like, I want this thing, or I want this vibe, or this is where they need to come out and this is what they need to come back in with. Or yes, so when it comes to the process for me, very hands-on with that. I normally use the demo vocals just to give the band something to listen to, so I can be in the studio in the room with Ross telling them what I want to do. And then what I'll do is once I get the music to where I like, me and Ross will get back together and then I'll cut vocals.
Are you writing everything on the record? You looking for outside songs too?
On this record of the 21 songs, there are 3 outside cuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. You like the writing process? What have you learned through the process? I mean, what's your system now? I mean, that's kind of like, I always looked at it, it's kind of like putting a paper together. You know, you got a heading and you got the body of your song. There's different structure techniques to go through. You kind of got a better grasp of all that now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, writing and singing, I call them muscles. They're muscles. So the more you do it, the more it's going to get stronger and the better you're going to get. And you're going to get better at knowing what you want to say. And the hard part is knowing what you don't want to say. And it's just kind of like, you know, I joke around when I go into a room and like, there's nothing wrong with it. But my branding and stuff like that is I am country, but like, it's funny, like all jokes aside, but like I stay away from saying beer and truck and stuff like that, just because that's not kind of my version of country music that I write personally.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just my own branding and how I approach songwriting. All that being said, when it comes down to writing for me, it's knowing who you're getting with, who you're writing with, who you're meeting up with, and knowing what ideas to take to those people and knowing what their strong suits are. Because I've found that there are certain pockets of people that I will take certain ideas and certain things of
without a doubt,
what I want to do. And I'm like, okay, this is your wheelhouse. This is your wheelhouse. This is your wheelhouse. So I'm taking these ideas to you guys.
Who do you like that's out there right now? Who are you listening to that's current?
I'll be honest, man. It's hard not to say Morgan.
Yeah.
I mean, Morgan has come onto the scene, and I mean, he's the biggest. He's the biggest. He's the biggest thing. And what I love about him is that he's authentically him, and he's making music that, you know, some could say is more country. Not so much country, but
well, it depends on the song.
100%.
I mean, he could put a package together and it could cover a rap and pop and country. And, I mean, he can sing a hardcore country song and come right behind it with a loop track and a rap vocal.
Exactly.
And he's very good at all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's being versatile. And I think that when people are like, oh, you're in country music, like you have to do this, like this is the thing that you do. And I'm kind of in that spectrum with him where I'm like, okay, there's going to be stuff that's going to feel more country. There's going to be stuff that feels more rock. And there's going to be some stuff that I want to explore and try a different avenue and touch on something else. So I say on this record that there's definitely 3 different sonic sounds from me on this record. You have a straight up acoustic and a vocal for some of the music on this record. Then you have stuff that is like a 2.0 version of my previous record, Pretty Little Poison. And then you have stuff that is a new vibe, new sound, something that I've kind of wanted to test the waters in with stuff that's like Relapse, Lies, Betrayal, my song Without You. What else is on there? Crying Whiskey. Like there's some more of those influences of a Morgan that I'm...
And it seems like you've got a pretty good song sense about... you like the more hardcore messaging, love gone wrong, heartbreak. That to me is more traditional country in itself.
Yeah.
And I've always gravitated to it well, but you seem to be gravitating pretty hard in that direction too.
100%. And I think that, again, it comes down to the music and the messaging and stuff. I think what's so much fun for us, man, in this current digital age and current positioning of country music, you go ahead and you look at it and you're like, okay, Post Malone just came in and cut a record in country music. I feel like there are no rules now. There's just no rules now. And you have Morgan that puts out the Dangerous album that is top to bottom a hardcore, absolutely masterpiece of country music that I think is just an absolutely amazing record. Huge inspiration of mine. One of the best records I've ever listened to. And then he comes around, he comes out with One Thing at a Time. And there's 3 different sounds to him in that record, which makes it fun and unique for a listener to be like, okay, I'm not super in love with this one, but I like this song.
So when you went in the studio, did you break those things up into groups when you tracked? Did you do the different versions of what you're trying to achieve to get into that mindset in the studio? So I'm going to do 4 or 5 of these right here. This is the direction we're going on this day.
I think yes and no. I think it's just that was the overall arching thing that I wanted to do. And it fly by the seat of your pants, and it just kind of came together that way because I kept my hand on the pulse through the process. So it's like I cut a lot of these other songs with a producer by the name of Mike Elizondo, who has done stuff with Eminem, Dr. Dre, with Avenged Sevenfold. So like he's an absolutely amazing producer. And I gave him some more of those songs that are that new sonic sound to me.
Makes sense.
Like a Relapse, like a Lies, like a Crying Whiskey on the new record. So I let him take lead on that because I was like,
that makes sense, though. You didn't just change gears. You changed producers to give you some of those different things. And you'll probably have a better grasp of it the next go around because as you've gone through this lengthy process, it gives you a lot more to digest over the next year and a half, 2 years as you get ready to make another record.
100%. Again,
it'll change your song process. Yep. You'll know a little bit more about what you want. You do evolve. You do continue to grow.
You evolve and you learn. Again, you're talking to a guy that was thrown into this. So it's not like I was playing the dive bar scene for 5 years and I'm writing and no one's noticing and I have 5 years of time to have this craft building, and then I come to town and I'm like, hey, I kind of know what I want to do. Now let's kind of start to build success and stuff. It's like, hey, I wrote about 10 songs, even if that, before my first hit song came out, within the span of recording my first song I ever wrote in my childhood bedroom, meeting my manager, writing my first hit song, first time coming to Nashville, and then 4 months later signing a record deal, and that song comes out, and then it's like off to the races, baby.
Yep.
Now you got traction.
It's like getting shot out of a cannon.
Yeah. People know your name, and I'm walking on the streets of Nashville, and I'm getting recognized 4 years ago because, I love your TikToks, I love your Instagram videos, dude. Love Ride the Lightning. Like, when's the next song coming out, or like, are you putting out an album and stuff? It's like that's how fast it happened.
Tell me what things that you don't look for when you're writing or working on a song. For me, when I was playing the radio game in the early stages, John Michael was on the same label with me. They kept trying to send me those sappy love songs, and I hated them. I refused to do them. I love swing music, but you can't get swing songs played on the radio. What do you avoid as an artist right now? What do you ixnay immediately? If I was listening to a demo and it says I was sitting at a bar, I would move on immediately. Over redundant lines that are used. What do you steer clear of?
I think it's that. I think it's very much so to what you were just saying there. It's those overused kind of concepts. You say I like the darker imaging, right? Go ahead and look at this record and look at these titles. You have a relapse. First thing that comes to mind is drug and alcohol use. I'm talking about relapsing with a girl. Yeah. So it's like taking these fun titles and flipping them on their head and making it a unique storytelling process that when you get to the hook and you listen to, you're like, oh, this is about, young love and about seeing your ex and being like, okay, she's too good looking to say no to, so let's roll around in the hay again. You have that. You have a song called Intoxicated and you're thinking about drinking, but no, I'm talking about a girl that's just so good looking and was in my life, and I'm like, I'll be honest, you got me wrapped around your finger and I'm intoxicated by you. So it's fun things like that when it comes to writing processes. We've heard whiskey a million times in songwriting, right?
Oh, yeah.
In country music. But we took us, and again, I'm like, okay, I'll say whiskey, but it's been done a lot, right? But then I was on a retreat in Miami back in May writing for this record, and the people that I was writing with brought me this half-baked idea. They were like, hey, like this might be something you might like. This is kind of like a verse semi hook that we put together. And they're like, no, 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 you're just crying whiskey. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. What's the messaging behind it? And it's talking about this girl that's only hitting you up when she's drunk and stuff. And that's when she wants you. And I'm like, okay, I've been through that shit before. So I can sink my teeth into this. And it's taking these used themes and making them revitalized in a whole different perspective. That's what makes it fun for me.
Do you allow yourself to go to more contemporary words and things like social media or like TikTok? I mean, are you using any of that? I personally try to avoid it when I write. It doesn't fit in my wheelhouse, but I know a lot of people do in your generation.
Nope. That's a great, thank you for bringing that up. That's another thing that I stay clear of. Even though I'm in the digital age, I try to stay away from the whole,
It seems like it traps you in a certain place in time. You want to stay a little bit more timeless.
It does. It's one thing to say call, because call's been around for quite a bit of time now. But the whole, like you said, social media, or
it's like you go back, you can't use answer machines anymore.
Yeah.
You can't. It's really hard to talk about putting quarters in a jukebox in this day and age.
Yep.
This generation, nobody understands what it is.
Yep.
But you can still get the imaging across.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. It's like, I'm not saying like, oh, you followed me on social media, or you dropped a follow, or you dropped a like, all that kind of stuff. Like it doesn't feel right. I think there's one song that I put out where I said the word text in it because it just made sense for that song. But again, I try to stay clear of some of that stuff because you want it to be able to transcend and
Absolutely.
kind of have a good.
It's amazing that you're that aware of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool, man, because that's something to really pay attention to in this market nowadays. What do you miss the most right now as you see all this escalating? For me, when I got swallowed up by this bubble, as you get to running on the treadmill, it's wide open. I miss driving back roads because I grew up doing it so much, and all of a sudden I wasn't able to do it anymore. What do you miss, or what do you think you're going to miss the most in the next year?
When you say, what do you think I'm going to miss the most? Are you talking about just
lifestyle and things that you're
stuff?
not, that you kind of like going to the grocery store and being able to do things that you used to take for granted? There's some things that it gets harder and more of a challenge to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you burn out, you're coming in off a long run. You can't just pop into the grocery store. You get overwhelmed. I mean, because all of a sudden you got all this attention on you, and I just wanted to buy a steak and a baked potato. That's all I came in here for.
No, I mean, you're not wrong. Like I surprisingly do like to go to the grocery store and stuff and pick out what I'm eating for the week and get my eggs and steak and all my healthy things that I love to cook and prepare for meal prep. But it's like when I go to the grocery store, I always make sure I wear a hoodie, because like there are times where I haven't worn one and someone's like, hey, and I'm like, hey, you're here getting coffee too? I'm like, yep, I'm just trying to.
And a 5-minute deal turns into 35 minutes.
Yeah, yes. And it's like, I love talking to my fans and all that
Absolutely.
kind of stuff. And that's not the point. It's just like, hey, you're here too. I'm also a human as well, and I'm literally just trying to grocery shop and get some stuff.
And sometimes, you just get where you just let me have a moment.
Yeah.
Just a little moment by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
It's going to be fascinating to watch you go through this whole journey, man. It's a fun ride. It really is.
Yeah.
What do you think what do you see happening in the next 3 to 5 years? Where do you see you going?
Oh man, I love that question. So again, back to that whole marketing.
Absolutely. You got to look down the road.
I see myself in arenas for sure across 4 countries. So you got US, Canada, Australia, and over in Europe and stuff. I see myself probably dabbling in the acting scene, getting into that.
Cool.
Whether it's
had some opportunities so far.
I've had some people kind of poke around, through the grapevine and stuff, and bring up like, hey, this is something that maybe you should consider doing. And man, I'm just like, hey, I could totally see myself. I love movies. I'm a movie buff. So I was like, I could totally see myself being like a Jake Gyllenhaal or Ryan Gosling, or Ryan Gosling. I mean, he did a photo shoot for GQ that really inspired kind of my most recent press photos and stuff like that. So shout out to Ryan.
That guy's so freaking versatile too, man.
Yeah.
He's musically talented. He can dance. I mean,
Yeah.
but he's got the Mouseketeer background. I mean, he with Timberlake and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But he's much more well versed than as an actor and a musician than people really realize he is.
Yeah.
The guy's badass.
And then even looking at like a Sabrina Carpenter with like her theatrical background and stuff and like what she brings to her live show, I think for me it's like continuing to grow the live show, continuing to put out great music. I love what I get to do for a living, and it's making sure that the fans show up and it's not just a concert. I always want to build an experience. I want you to leave with an experience of like, what did I just consume? What did I just witness? This is something that I must tell somebody about, and I must come back and see again because that was phenomenal.
What's your routine like? You already talked about meal prepping. Those are all great things to do. You carrying workout equipment with you? You going to a gym? You doing cardio during the day? What's your routine as you go through the day all the way up to sound check and getting ready for show?
Okay, let's think about this. It changes depending on where you're at. So you go from having your rituals and habits with your own tour bus in the US, and then you go over to Europe and the UK for the first time, and I'm on a tour bus with 15 people, and I got my whole team on there, and we went skeleton crew because it's like, hey, first tour, thank God that it was sold out. It was awesome. 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 cap rooms. First time ever being there. Crowds were phenomenal, but you're over there and you're kind of like, okay. A must have for me is meals. So waking up, first thing I get in the morning is coffee, high protein, and I talk to the team, whether it's tour manager, my content guy, what's going on, what's the day bringing, shoot me my laundry list of things that's going on for the day, whether it's meet and greet, I got to talk to radio, whatever. And then I talk to my content guy and I'm like, okay, what do we want to shoot? What do we want to get? Do you want to, okay, let's get some filming of me hitting the gym today. Let's get some B-roll of me walking the streets in this city. Let's figure out what socials content we're doing. What song are we promoting right now? What's moving the needle right now on socials? Okay, well, let's put some more fire on this specific song. A workout is a must for me. It is an absolute must. Clears my head. I am a workout junkie. Yep. I live for the gym. And then an ice bath if I can get it, sauna if I can get it. And honestly, my day just really evolves around, getting a good sound check in. But the majority of my day is a workout, and I would say me and my content guy are inseparable. Him and I are always talking about, okay, so what's going on with, we're posting on socials, what's management need, what's coming up, what else do we need? We need these liners, we need this, we need that, we need this. So it's like him and I are always together figuring out what's the next best move on social media.
So is the whole tour put together now? Or are you going to go out and start like next week or two when you go out? And when you're done, are you going to go do so many in the mid to late spring, then 25 in the summer, big fairs and festivals, then you're going to do 25 or 30 in the fall, then you're going to wrap up in November, you're going to shut down completely, take a little sabbatical? I mean, you gotta, I know you're thinking down the road too, and you've got to have that time for yourself. It's very important.
Oh yeah, man. I have been burning the wick at both ends since I've started doing this.
You've got to think about that balance too, and it's real hard early on to make yourself do it because you just want to get it all. I don't want to miss any opportunity, but you got to have that balance.
Yeah, I think for me, it is obviously through this next year working on, I know it sounds crazy, but it's the age we live in. I'm going to drop this record and I'm going to continue to keep writing and start cutting more stuff.
So you don't even plan on taking any kind of downtime. You just roll right into the next one, keep right on moving.
Yeah, so we're having a conversation right now. We got album that drops this Friday. I go to New York. I go to Houston Rodeo, New York. I go out to LA, come back, rehearsals. We kickstart the Relapse tour with about 25-ish dates in the spring here. Kickstarted in Nashville. We do that. We get finished with that. We got summer festivals. And then I'm announcing next week as well my fall tour, which is touring through Canada, west to east.
Awesome.
Then we get back from Canada, have a breather, and then we kickstart the fall tour in the U.S., finish that up, I'm sure.
So you're going up to Canada for like several weeks at a time?
I think so.
Just sending everything across?
I'm so excited, man. Canada throws down.
Canada's fun, man.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot farther between shows than people realize.
It's a hike.
Yeah, it's a pretty good haul.
Yeah,
but I love going to Canada, but I hate going through customs. I hate crossing the border, going and coming. I hate both ways. It's like I don't want to go for one show. You got to take me up there for at least 2 or 3 weeks at a time.
I know, because they are something else at customs. Yes.
And it doesn't matter what you do. You know, they have you right there, and they can strip your bus. They can peel the cabinet doors off if they want to, and they'll just put them in a pile and go on. Have a good day.
It feels like a power trip.
It is a power trip.
Power hungry.
Absolutely. And they're probably not going to be very happy right now. There's a lot going on with all the tariff disputes and all that stuff. So it's probably a little tense right now. But in the fall, it's probably all going to be calm
Hopefully,
down.
Cools down. But yeah, I did a whole Canada tour in this past spring. First time ever going up there, and it was just mesmerizing. I mean,
people are great.
They are.
Countryside's beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, and the food's pretty good too. You know, you could get a decent variety of food too.
There was a place that we were in. Where was it? We were. It was one of our first shows we played on that tour, and me and my dad went out and grabbed dinner, and it was probably some of the best wings I'd ever had. I don't know what flavor it was, but I was like, these are some of the best chicken wings I've ever had.
And Edmonton has some of the most beautiful ladies in the entire world.
Yeah. There's some good looking.
I'm just saying.
They're I call they're so good looking.
Oh, I just struck a nerve.
They got a thing.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But I think after that fall tour is all said and done is where I'll maybe take a little bit of a breather and kind of take some downtime and maybe go on vacation somewhere and really kind of allow myself to reboot and really attack 26 and figure out what 26 looks like for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let me introduce you to the guys here. That's Derek.
It's good to meet y'all again.
Derek plays the second guitar in the band, and Scott is the piano player, so he's doing video. And
I love that. Okay, that's so cool.
These are the guys. So I mean, so we can set up and do everything on the road, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Takes about an hour and a half or so. It's not too bad.
As long as the cables work.
As long as the cables work. I have a box full of extra cables. I have plenty. I'm all about redundancy. So come up with y'all got something good?
I got a question. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Can you talk about your philosophy of happy but never satisfied?
Yeah. I think it comes from, well, shout out to my manager. He kind of said it to me. Him and I are both from the sports background and stuff. I love Kobe. Shout out to Kobe, and may he rest in peace. That mentality that he had is that I'm going to outwork you. And I think for me is that I'm happy with where I am, but whenever you allow your go to a mindset of I'm satisfied is when that inner hunger and that inner monster is no longer hungry, and you need to always keep feeding it. So it's like, to put in the example, I'm very grateful for where I'm at right now. But if I sat here and I told you that I was satisfied with where I'm at in life, there's nowhere else for me to go. I'm sitting at the midway of the mountain, and I'm just going to sit there. I'm not going to the peak. So I could be content with going and playing 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 cap rooms for the next couple of years. But that's not where I plan on stopping. I plan on getting to acting. I plan on getting to arenas. I plan on being one of the names of country music that people can't get my name out of their mouth. So I have a lot of high expectations for myself. I have that entrepreneurial spirit, whether I open up my own clothing line one day, whatever I put my mind to and put the work in for, I think, the thing is endless for me, and I work my ass off for what I have. So
Very nice.
Yeah, happy, never satisfied, man.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Man, what's your most embarrassing moment on stage?
Oh, okay. So this one's good. It was semi on stage. For a while I was able to say that I never fell on stage, which it went all over, which you had Ernest falling off. You had a bunch of people having their spills and everything. This was my new tour manager's first ever show with me. We are playing a show on the first show of the start of the tour last year in the spring tour. This was not his fault. It was the venues. I will not say the venue's name. There was a discrepancy in it was in an arena, right? So I'm taking my normal jog to stage, and then there was a ramp to run up to get to stage.
Yeah.
Well, while I'm jogging, there was a lip to get up to the next level of flooring before you got to the ramp to get on stage.
Yeah.
No lights, no security, no one there with flashlights on to show me.
I was thinking flashlights.
There was nothing. It was pitch black. It was damn near pitch black. And I'm jogging and wearing snip-toe cowboy boots, and my foot hits that, and I go flying into the ramp. When I say I fell and my hands were cut up in arms and elbows, and my cowboy hat came flying off, I was about 8 seconds away from the first verse coming in, and my team didn't even know I fell. And I get up, and I can't find my cowboy hat, and I walk. I've never gone on stage without my cowboy hat like that for my shows. I walk up, I have like blood on my hands and like move my hair out of the way, and I walk up and I sing the first verse with blood coming down onto my jeans and stuff. So it's pretty gnarly.
That's pretty badass, actually.
Yeah.
So my tour manager's like, I'm fired. He's like, I'm totally getting fired. I'm so getting fired. I didn't have like, he was
Put the low light down on the damn ramp.
he was bitching out people of like, what are you doing? Why was no one there? It was a whole thing. And like after the first song, he's trying to get medical to get me, wipes and stuff. So like after the first song, we go to a blackout, and I'm walking over there, and I'm wearing these light wash bleach jeans, and he's trying to rub the blood out. I'm like, leave it on, dude. It's not going anywhere.
His name's not Chuck, is it? Sorry, the whole tour manager. You don't strike me as a guy that sleeps very much. Are you an early morning guy? Do you get up and work out first thing in the morning?
I am surprisingly not an early morning guy. I need my 8 hours. I do, with how hard I work out and push my body. I strictly try to at least get a solid 8 hours of sleep. I'm a night owl guy. That's where some of the best ideas have ever come to me with song ideas, songwriting. I'm a guy that the way I unwind is the gym, and I'm very much so like a lone wolf. I love to cook, and I love to just kind of be in my own thing. You're not going to catch me out at bars on the weekends and stuff like that. I'm normally either working out playing shows, or I'm playing Xbox with my boys until 1, 2 in the morning, just playing Call of Duty.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you got a heart out, so I want to go ahead and try to wrap up. If I missed anything you want to talk about, anything that we didn't get to, man, my whole premise and all this stuff is just to find the commonality that we share and talk about the journey and the things that are interesting. Because this business is a strange beast, and when you're first getting into it, it can be really overwhelming. There's so many things to try to figure out and ponder, and so many pieces of this whole wheel that makes your career turn. Man, it's a lot to digest, and I try to share that with everybody.
It does, but a big thing to leave you with is, I don't think I said this, but both my parents work for me now. So I had my parents leave their jobs, and they both work for me full time.
That's awesome.
Mama's my business manager, and then my dad's been on the last couple tours with me as a merch manager. He oversees like my real estate, my stock portfolio, and all that stuff.
Nice.
So having them both work for me, and having them now live in Nashville for over the past year.
That's interesting to me. I've often wondered. I think that we ought to have a better strategy to help educate young artists, and I think the same could be said for professional athletes.
Yeah.
You got all these kids making all this NIL money, and a lot of them come from situations. You're fortunate to come from a stable background with a good family.
Yeah.
A lot of kids come from situations where they never had anything, and all of a sudden they got a lot of money and access to things. Bad things happen if you don't have good guidance around you. It's a great thing that you have those pieces in place early on in your career, because everybody doesn't.
Yeah, 100%. I think the biggest thing to touch on too is, like you talked about earlier, was giving back to the ones you love. And like my parents, I come from a family that worked for everything that they had, and there was tough times growing up that your parents never going to lead on for you to notice and stuff like that. But I was old enough to be aware. My sister never was. And to have the position that I'm in now, where I'm the guy who's going out to eat, and I don't even make them flinch. And it's like, hey, put it on the tour card. Like, I got it. Like, business expense, whatever. They both work for me. We're talking about business. It's like, hey, you guys want to move to Nashville? Let me help with let me help pay for the house and stuff like that. So for me, it's just been my parents. I love talking about this. My parents never were away from my sister and I longer than 3 days our entire childhood, unless it was My mom and dad went on one work retreat for my mom. They were going for 3 days, but they were never away from my sister and I. Never missed a game. We're always there for our practices. My parents took me everywhere up and down the East Coast for college, for tryouts, for, you know, tournament showcases, for getting seen from colleges, to traveling for summer league for lacrosse and fall league and winter games and everything. And my parents were a stable background, but I'll say this much: my parents knew when to love me and show me some serious tough love, and that is why I am the way I am today.
You know, let's see, what was I going to say? I lost my freaking train of thought right here at the end. I hate it when I do that. It sucks to get old. Don't get old, dude. You know, let's see, where was I going? Well, I guess we'll just wrap her up. I can't think of what I was going to talk about. Oh, I remember what it was. You know, you probably haven't experienced this yet, and I didn't until it was too late. You don't realize the impact that your music and your career has on the people that you love, people that you grew up with and everything else. And I'll give you for example. I never thought about, when I cut Time Marches On, what impact it was going to have on my family. It destroyed my stepdad, because it talks about Daddy's got a girlfriend in another town, and all of his people thought that I wrote that song. I didn't. Bobby Braddock wrote it, but they thought that I wrote that about my dad, and it caused him a lot of grief, and I never even contemplated that before I cut it. So you don't realize the way people perceive things out there. When you get a hit on the radio, it affects everybody in your orbit. It really does.
Wow. That's some deep stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and I would have never thought about it till I lived through it. So
Yeah.
ponder on it.
Wow. Thank you for that advice.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed getting to know you, man. It's great.
I appreciate you,
I
man.
wish you all the best out there. Hope you have a great tour this year, and just enjoy every bit of it, man. Enjoy the ride.
Amen. Appreciate you having me on.
Warren Zeiders.